Hi, today we're going to be looking at Pole Position. This was originally an arcade game but has been ported to many home consoles as well, and we'll be looking at the Atari 2600 version. Now, a big drawing point for this game was the quasi-3D third-person perspective you take behind the car. This wasn't the first time this had been done, but this is certainly one of the earliest examples. This is obviously a fairly standard feature for modern gamers, and you'd be fairly miffed if you didn't have this view when you purchased a racing game. But I was impressed both that this had even been attempted on a 2600 and with how well it was actually pulled off. Now, the gameplay consists of a qualifying lap, and then assuming you've passed this lap quickly enough, you move on to a 4-lap Grand Prix. The score you get for both of these depends upon how quickly you complete the course and how many cars you overtake doing so. I was impressed that even on such an early example of this kind of racing game, they had included a high and a low gear that you can manually switch between while driving. And whilst this will be a welcome inclusion for racing enthusiasts to use the resistance from gears to help corner and such, it's not too intimidating for the casual gamer who just wants a quick racing fix. To control the car as standard, it'll accelerate for you, and you use left and right for steering obviously, and forward and backwards to change gears. And this all works very nicely. The only bad point I found with controls is the fire button on the joystick is used for braking, and I didn't really have to touch it at all while racing, but I'm sure players with more advanced driving techniques will be using this much more effectively. Now, you'll notice you regularly overtake cars while driving along, and if you come into contact with these, your car will instantly go up in flames, and the game will reset your position and speed, slowing you down substantially. Other than this, the only other hazard you've got to look out for, making sure you don't wander onto the shoulder, and like in all good F1 games, this will also slow you down quite a lot. Now, if you're going to play this game, I can't stress how important it is you avoid both of these hazards, as it's so very insulting to be overtaken by such a primitive looking car in a racing game, and really does rub salt in the wound. Now, there's only one track in Pole Position, and it has a striking resemblance to one of the former layouts of the Fuji Speedway. No mention is made in the instructions as to whether this is actually the Fuji Speedway, but at the very least it's certainly been inspired by it. But I'm sure as other racing game enthusiasts will agree, satisfaction comes from a racing game from doing the tracks over and over again and really working on your corners and your technique. So this lack of tracks isn't really that much of a negative point. Overall, the only real improvements that could be made to Pole Position would require more advanced hardware, and I see Pole Position as a great example of a perfectly formed game that works beautifully with the hardware at its disposal, and I can see both why it was so popular and why it's regarded as a classic. So if you've never played Pole Position before, give it a go. It's ever so easy to come by, and it's present on numerous Namco and retro collections. Unless you have some kind of severe aversion to Apple products, you may even want to look into Pole Position Remixed, available on the iPhone. But that's it for now. Take care, and I'll see you next time.